This is the Hessaire mobile evaporative cooler. Many times you may also hear them called swamp coolers. Now, before I tried this thing, I actually did not know what a swamp cooler was. I had never heard of them, and I saw it actually in Home Depot and was very curious. So I decided to purchase it. And as many of you know, I'm looking for a way, well, I'm interested if there's a way to cool down my hot garage during the summer. I did try a portable, well, a semi-portable AC unit in another review I did, and it worked out okay, but it didn't have the ability to really cool the entire garage. Even though it said it was rated for about 400 square feet, which is what my garage is, roughly, it couldn't bring down the temperature of the garage. And I do actually have insulation on the garage door, and the garage itself, I believe, is insulated. So I was hopeful that that one could kind of bring the temperature down, and I was curious. Unfortunately, that one did not work out, and so I did not keep it. And now I found this one. And if, like me, you were not familiar with evaporative coolers or swamp coolers, I'm definitely not an expert on AC technology in any way, but the way I understand it, they work by adding moisture into the air to help cool the air temperature. I don't completely understand it. You do have to fill this up with water, but I figured, you know, what the heck, let's try it, let's see how well it works. I've never used a swamp cooler. I did read online, of course, that with swamp coolers, they work best in dry climates. Now, of course, here in Texas, we do not have a dry climate, but I figured, you know, what the heck, let's just see how it goes, let's see how it works out. And so one thing I will say is that, you know, assembly is super easy. You do have to keep, I'm not gonna turn it on because you do need to keep the window open to allow a fresh circulation of air. But it's simple to operate just down here in this little, let me see if I can open this up. Here you actually can fill this up. I used a water hose to fill it up since I'm in the garage. That was easy enough. It holds about 10 gallons of water from what I remember reading. And then there you would just turn on this, and then it has a low, medium, and high setting for the fan. And then these grills can actually swing back and forth. Now, let's talk now about the actual performance of this thing. So what I did is I did an experiment. I have a thermometer in my garage. I measured the temperature at that time at like 91. I don't remember the humidity. I wish I would have looked at it. I left this thing on for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it was actually comically funny. So I didn't expect much, especially after watching a YouTube video review over a similar unit. In that review, he was living in Arizona, I believe, somewhere near the desert, and he actually only got a temperature drop of probably 2 degrees Fahrenheit in his garage. But like I said, it was comically funny when I came back into the garage after running it for 2 or 3 hours, because it was literally like a shower. Like I walked into a shower. That's how humid it was. The temperature actually, funny enough, dropped about 1 degree, 2 degrees, but obviously that's not what you want in your garage. You do not want that much humidity. And now let's talk about how I would rate this thing specifically for cooling off your garage gym. And to be honest, I don't understand the use case. Even as I saw in another YouTube video, when you're in something like Arizona with the ideal climate for this type of swamp cooler, you're not going to see a massive temperature drop. Now, the guy did say that he felt some, you know, like it felt cooling to him, basically. Now, I didn't feel any cooling, to be honest. It just felt like very humid and a lot, just like walking into a shower. So with that in mind, I would have to rate this a 2 out of 5. It's not effective for cooling down your garage especially in Texas or maybe anywhere in the South with a high degree of humidity at all. It's simply not effective. And so I do not recommend this for cooling down your garage gym. And so where do we go from here? Well, I'm not sure there is an effective way to cool down a garage that's not completely insulated. Certainly not a cheap way to do it. I am going to try out a few more AC units because I'm curious and I can, create these review videos. And one thing I will say about the other AC unit that I reviewed, it did feel good if you got yourself into the proper position of where it's blasting at you. It did feel good and it made the garage feel a lot less humid. It made it feel a lot more comfortable, but now it didn't drop it, by 10 degrees or anything like that. But I wasn't running it all the time. I mean, I still use this garage to store a car. So the moment I raise that door, all the cool air is going to escape, right? So I can't run it all the time. Also, since I'm parking the car in the garage, that means that all the heat from the car is also leaking into the garage as well, right? So it's a challenge. I'm not sure if it's ever possible to fully cool off a garage, at least in Texas, but I'm going to keep exploring it and we're going to see if there's a fantastic garage cooling system that's out there that's effective and economical. But yes, for the Hessaire evaporative cooling system or swamp cooler, I'm going to have to rate it a 2 out of 5. We are definitely not recommending purchasing it, especially if you live in a humid environment like Texas.